In the world of Naruto, few characters are as haunting, or as misunderstood, as Pain. He levels an entire village, kills one of the most beloved characters in the series, stands atop a mountain of bodies and declares himself the god of a new world. But underneath the destruction, there's something else. A philosophy, a message, a broken boy trying to make sense of a broken world. Today I want to explore Pain, not as a villain, but as a reflection of the very world he's trying to change, and maybe as a reflection of ourselves. One of the most interesting things about anime, and Naruto in particular, is how it challenges the simplicity of good versus evil. Yes, Naruto is the hero. Yes, he fights for peace and friendship. But what makes the series powerful is not that Naruto is good, it's that his enemies are not entirely bad. With Pain, the story doesn't just test Naruto's strength, it tests his morality. Because Pain isn't a random madman. He's someone with a goal Naruto shares: peace. The question is, what are you willing to do to achieve it? Pain's ideology is terrifying because it's consistent. It doesn't waver in the face of contradiction, it leans into it. His belief is this: if people can experience true suffering, the kind of pain that leaves nothing untouched, they will do anything to avoid it again. Pain's weapon is fear, but his goal is peace. And this is where we begin to see the cracks in our traditional understanding of heroes and villains. In chapter 443, Pain says something that turns the moral compass upside down. The justice I delivered to Konoha is no different than what you are trying to do to me. If you strip away the sides, the symbols, the shinobi allegiances, you're left with two boys trying to end war, two orphans shaped by grief, both students of the same man. There's something deeply Buddhist about Pain's worldview. In Buddhism, pain is inevitable, but suffering, that's a response. Suffering comes from craving, from attachment to how we think the world should be. Pain, in this case, becomes a teacher. Taoism echoes this, seeing pain not as evil, but as part of the natural flow, the yin to life's yang. Pain the character takes this to an extreme. He believes that by making the world suffer, he can end suffering, and while his methods are horrifying, they are grounded in a real philosophy. Only through knowing pain can one learn peace. But to understand Pain, we have to understand Nagato. As a child, he was idealistic. He wanted peace through unity, not violence. But the betrayal that led to Yahiko's death didn't just break his heart. It broke his faith in dialogue, in diplomacy, in hope. What emerged from that moment wasn't a villain, but a weaponized trauma, a vessel of justice that no longer believed in mercy. And it's here that we see Pain not as a monster, but as the result of the world he came from. Pain is not just a character, he's a mirror, a reflection of what happens when justice turns into revenge and when peace is sought through control. He forces us, and Naruto, to ask hard questions. Do our enemies see us the same way we see them? Does peace mean victory or understanding? Pain was willing to burn the world to save it. Naruto chose to listen. So was Pain a villain? Maybe. But if he was one shaped by grief, by betrayal, by the very cycle he tried to destroy. And if we're honest, we all carry a little of that pain inside us. The desire to make others feel what we felt, the belief that our pain justifies our actions. What Naruto teaches us is that breaking that cycle starts not with force, but with understanding. At the heart of both Naruto and Pain is the same desire: peace, justice, an end to the endless cycle of war. But where Naruto chooses empathy, Pain chooses fear. As Pain says to Naruto, "The justice I delivered against Konoha is no different than what you're trying to do to me." If you flip the script and see the story from Pain's point of view, he becomes the hero, Naruto becomes the threat. This perspective forces us to ask, is justice just the opinion of the victor? Pain challenges not just Naruto, but us as viewers. Pain's plan sounds horrifying. Use the power of the tailed beast to build a super weapon that would terrorize the world into peace. But beneath the surface, there's a strange, cold logic. His idea is this: when people experience true pain, they will fear war. They will avoid repeating it. It's like putting your hand in fire. Once you've been burned, you never want to do it again. Pain believes only pain can break the cycle. This echoes Buddhist philosophy, where pain is a universal truth, but suffering arises from how we respond to that pain. In Buddhism, clinging, craving, and ignorance create suffering. In Taoism, pain is part of the natural flow of life, not something to conquer, but something to understand and integrate. Pain, in this context, becomes a teacher. Understanding pain means understanding Nagato. He was once an innocent orphan, just like Naruto. Alongside Yahiko and Konan, he formed the original Akatsuki to create peace, but betrayal and death twisted that dream. When Yahiko died, partly due to manipulation from Konoha's root division, Nagato lost hope in peaceful methods. His new philosophy, only shared suffering could unify people. The world shaped him into pain. What makes Pain such a powerful character isn't just his strength, it's his moral ambiguity. It forces us to reflect on real life. Are heroes always right simply because they win? How often do we label people villains without understanding their pain? Like the Taoist teaching, good and bad are often two sides of the same thing. Or the Buddhist idea that suffering shapes how we act, and understanding that can lead to compassion. Pain's story teaches us not to judge based on surface impressions, and to question our own sense of justice. In his own way, Pain is a tragic embodiment of the very cycle he sought to end. In the end, Naruto breaks the cycle, not with violence, but with empathy. He listens, he understands, and in doing so, he helps Pain remember who he really was. Nagato's redemption shows us that villains aren't always evil. Sometimes, they're just lost in their own suffering. So, is Pain a villain? Maybe, maybe not. But more importantly, Pain is a mirror, one that forces us to look inward and ask ourselves, what would we do if we were in his place?